There are moments on live television that stay with people long after the cameras stop rolling. Moments that feel less like entertainment and more like a window into someone's private life. A sudden shift in emotion, a sharp tone, a quiet sigh, and viewers can tell something is off. And today, what happened between Kelly Ripa and Mark Consuelos on their show left many fans with that exact feeling. It was a small moment, but a heartbreaking one. Let's walk through everything, gently, carefully, respectfully, and uncover what truly led to that emotional moment on live television. The show began like any other. Bright lights, cheerful energy, and the familiar back and forth between Kelly and Mark, a dynamic fans love. But a few minutes into the opening conversation, something shifted. Mark asked a simple question. Innocent, harmless, something about their holiday plans, something about the timing of Thanksgiving dinner, but Kelly's reaction was different, sharper, shorter, heavier. She snapped, not in anger, not in cruelty, but in a way that felt like someone holding too much inside. It wasn't the words she said. It was how she said them. The firmness, the frustration, the emotion just beneath the surface. And viewers can tell something is off. And today, what happened between Kelly Ripa and Mark Consuelos on their show left many fans with that exact feeling. It was a small moment, but a heartbreaking one. Let's walk through everything, gently, carefully, respectfully, and uncover what truly led to that emotional moment on live television. The show began like any other. Bright lights, cheerful energy, and the familiar back and forth between Kelly and Mark, a dynamic fans love. But a few minutes into the opening conversation, something shifted. Mark asked a simple question. Innocent, harmless. Something about their holiday plans, something about the timing of Thanksgiving dinner. But Kelly's reaction was different, sharper, shorter, heavier. She snapped, not in anger, not in cruelty, but in a way that felt like someone holding too much inside. It wasn't the words she said. It was how she said them, the firmness, the frustration, the emotion just beneath the surface, and viewers felt it instantly. Some people thought it was playful banter. Others thought it was a real argument hiding behind jokes. But anyone who has ever held back tears or carried stress quietly knows that voice, knows that tone. Something was bothering Kelly, and it didn't start on the stage. Within minutes, social media lit up. Kelly didn't look okay today. Why did she sound so emotional? Mark looked worried. Did anyone else notice? There's more to this than just a dinner argument. People weren't attacking her. They were concerned, because the Kelly that America knows is warm, witty, sharp, quick, but also calm. This moment was different, and whenever something feels out of character, fans sense it. Especially with a couple like Kelly and Mark, a couple they've watched for decades, a couple they feel connected to. Here is where things start to make sense. According to people familiar with the production rhythm, Kelly arrived on set a little quieter than usual. She wasn't upset, just reflective. You know that feeling when something weighs on your mind, and even if you're smiling, you're not fully present? That was her morning. Some say she slept badly. Others say she had a tough call before coming in. There were hints she was worried about something family-related. Nothing dramatic, nothing scandalous, just life, the kind of everyday emotional weight that doesn't disappear simply because you're a public figure. And Mark, being the person closest to her, felt it. But when you're live on television, you can't pause, you can't hide, you can't breathe for even a moment. Everything gets amplified. So when Mark asked that question, it touched the exact nerve Kelly had been trying to stay strong around. And the snap happened. Not because of him, not because of the question, but because sometimes the smallest spark sets off the biggest emotions.
especially when we're trying to hold ourselves together. Mark didn't get angry. He didn't get defensive. He didn't make a joke at her expense. He paused, and he looked at her with the kind of expression only someone who truly knows you would have, a mix of concern, understanding, and patience. He knows Kelly better than anyone. He knows when her sharpness is really stress. He knows when her tone is covering tiredness. He knows when she's overwhelmed but trying not to show it. And that moment, he chose compassion over reaction. That, more than anything, tells the real story. Once the cameras turned off, the energy on set shifted. Not tense, softer. According to production whispers, Kelly sat quietly for a few seconds, took a deep breath, and Mark placed his hand gently on her back. No words, no lecture, no judgment, just support.
She apologized, not dramatically, not tearfully, just a quiet, genuine, "I'm sorry, I'm a little overwhelmed today." Mark, of course, understood. They talked privately in their dressing room for a few minutes. No fight, no argument, just two people who love each other trying to navigate a stressful day. Kelly wasn't angry. She wasn't upset with Mark. She was just human. She needed a moment. And Mark gave it to her. Many viewers love to idealize celebrity couples, especially Kelly and Mark. They've been together for decades. They have a rare kind of chemistry, both fiery and tender. They work together, live together, raise 3 children together. And sometimes, being that close means you see each other's stress. This wasn't a sign of trouble. It wasn't a sign of tension. It wasn't a fight. It was a moment, a single human moment in the middle of a live broadcast. If anything, it showed how real they are. Strong couples aren't the ones who avoid emotional moments. They're the ones who handle them with grace and move forward with love. If you've been following Kelly lately, you know she's been juggling a lot. Hosting a daily show, family responsibilities, questions about future projects, holiday planning, pressure from the media, and the emotional toll of being constantly watched. Sometimes that load gets heavy, and even the strongest, happiest, most put-together people have moments where the mask slips. Kelly is incredibly strong, but she's also incredibly human. People forget that laughter, sarcasm, and humor are sometimes coping tools, but every tool has limits. Viewers didn't witness a breakdown. They witnessed a moment of honesty, a moment when the real Kelly peeked through. It wasn't the words, it wasn't the argument, it wasn't even the tone. It was the vulnerability. People saw someone they admire, someone they think of as bright, resilient, and endlessly composed, showing a small crack in her emotional armor. And that made her relatable. It made her human. It made her loved even more. Because when celebrities let their guard down, even unintentionally, we understand them better. We connect with them. We see ourselves in them. Kelly's moment didn't push viewers away, it pulled them closer. One thing that stood out on and off camera was Mark's maturity and emotional intelligence. People don't talk about it enough, but he truly is Kelly's anchor. Their marriage is not perfect. No marriage is. But what makes it strong is their ability to pause, breathe, and return to each other with understanding. And that's exactly what they did that morning. Kelly snapped. Mark stayed grounded. They talked. They moved on. Together. This is the quiet, unglamorous, but deeply beautiful reality of long-term love. The following day, viewers noticed something different. Kelly looked lighter, her tone softer, her smile warmer. That's what healing looks like. That's what emotional reset looks like. That's what having a supportive partner looks like. She didn't address the incident directly. She didn't need to.
Her calm presence said it all. Whatever weighed on her heart the previous day, she had let it go. Sometimes the most emotional stories aren't dramatic ones. They're quiet. They're subtle. They're hidden behind a smile or a sharp tone. Kelly's moment wasn't a scandal. It wasn't a fight. It wasn't disrespect. It was simply a reminder that even the people we admire most, even the people who seem strong every single day, feel overwhelmed sometimes. And the love surrounding them is what pulls them through. Kelly and Mark's story continues, stronger, deeper, and more real than ever. And moments like this remind us why people connect with them so deeply. Because behind the cameras, behind the celebrity, behind the laughter, they are two people who still choose each other every day.